So this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while. I have like a whole video board full of like topics and things I want to talk about, and I just blindfold myself and throw darts and whatever topic I choose. That's normally what I make a video on, but today I finally decided to talk about because I've been seeing a lot of other creators starting to speak on it recently because of the whole Pokemon Scarlet and Violet release. And I was like, you know what? Today is the day I finally make the video. So for any fanboys who might be sitting at their desk, they got their Capri Sun and their Lunchables ready to rage out in the comments for a franchise I might say something negative about. Before you do that, please just listen instead. And then if you still want to rage at the end, so be it. I don't care. It's just my opinion. I'm just one guy on the internet. But just hear what I have to say first. So for those who don't know or don't even care about gaming at all, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out last Friday, and the launch has been interesting to say the least. And that's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to that game. I really don't understand how game developers keep doing this or even really getting away. Actually, no, I know how they get away with it. It's because people keep buying their games. That's the real answer there, if we're being honest with ourselves. People are going to keep buying no matter what because it's a casual game. It's for people of all ages. Everyone loves to play Pokemon. And there's no real competitor, at least not yet, that's going to take away that thunder from Nintendo. But in my opinion, it's sad because Pokemon could be so much better than what we currently have. To this day, I am still a firm believer that Pokemon Coliseum is one of the greatest Pokemon games ever made. And guess what? It wasn't made by Game Freak. Game Freak has to be one of the worst developers I've ever seen when it comes to the Pokemon games, because I don't really ever see any real improvements or anything that really makes you say, wow, God, they really upped their game since the last one. Now, I will say the Pokemon Legends Arceus was actually pretty good. It was something different, a change of pace, showing that they were actually trying to go outside the box and not follow a same stale formulaic formula. But the game felt more like a tech demo, something to really test the water, see what people like, what people didn't. So hopefully the things that people like from that game, they're going to take into the game past Scarlet and Violet. It could actually make something that could be genuinely great, because that's the thing here. I don't think anyone wants Pokemon to fail. No one wants a shitty Pokemon game. But to me, the Pokemon franchise is kind of like the Sonic franchise, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. Hear me out. This is what I mean. Typically, every game that comes out is a stinker. It has some type of issue, some type of problem, but it's always one of those situations where it's getting there. They have the right idea, but they're not there yet. And then it happens again and again and again, and they don't really move forward. It's like they're stuck in a time loop and they keep repeating the same shit over and over. Game Freak reminds me of SpongeBob, where you saw him run at the speed of light and he said, you saw me do this? You want to see me do it again? Game Freak is the same way, where they make Pokemon say, you see this? You see all these bugs and glitches? You want to see us do it again? And then they do it in the next Pokemon game, and then the next one, and the next one. It's so mind-blowing, because you got to think about this, right? Pokemon is like $1 billion franchise. It is a fucking $1 billion plus franchise. They make so much goddamn money that the game shouldn't have way more than it currently has. As Charlie pointed out recently in his video, one of the things they could do is literally just put in voice acting. I guarantee fans would lose their shit. They'd be like, oh my God, Pokemon has fucking voice acting. That's crazy. I mean, when you compare it to a lot of the other games that are out these days, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. But when it comes to Pokemon, pretty much any step forward is a big deal. It's the same shit with the Sonic franchise. Any step forward with the games is a big deal, which I can understand to an extent with the Sonic community when they got upset with Video Game Donkey and his opinion of the game. But I will say this: one man's opinion on the internet is not going to sway or change anything about going forward in the franchise. I have read on countless threads that people have said that if they get one bad negative opinion, then they're going to change everything up and change the formula, which I will say is a fair point. It's happened time and time again with the franchise. But you got to remember, Donkey is literally one man on the entire fucking internet. The amount of attention that review gets is as much as you're willing to give to it. If you just ignored it and moved on, then that's the end of it. Because you got to remember, IGN, GameStop, Kotaku, I don't know if they still make game reviews at this point. I think they quit. But there are other outlets that review games that I'm pretty sure Sega takes a look at as well too. They're not going to look at just one harshly negative opinion and say, oh, well, he didn't like it. Guess we're going to start all over, start from scratch again, boys. You had other people that said 70% for the most part. That's generally the overall opinion of the game, which I think is a fair rating of the game. It's not perfect, but it's not terrible. It's just mid. It's in the middle. It's a good starting point for something that could be great in the future. I really can't wrap my head around the idea that Sega is going to just look at Donkey of all people and say, all right, yeah, that man didn't like our game. Sheesh. I guess we're starting all over. I think sometimes communities need to step back and realize people can enjoy games, or they can like them, or they can dislike them. That's an opinion. Not everyone needs to agree on the same fucking opinion on the internet. There wouldn't be a discussion to be had if everyone just said, yep, I like this and that's it. More times than not, when people criticize a game franchise or a game, it's because they want the game to be better. They want to do better, not because they want to see it fail and flop. For the most part, I'm pretty sure no one ever wants to see a game flop. They want to have a game that they can sink time into, a game they feel really like it's worth the money that they spend. And that's honestly Pokemon in a nutshell. Everyone that really talks about Pokemon, for the most part, enjoys the franchise. I love it. I think it's a great series. It's just that the games could be better. And when you're charging $60 for a game that launches like this, then I can't help but feel disappointed and let down, because I know that the potential wasn't reached. There is so much that Pokemon could do better, so many things that they could add to it, and they just don't reach it. And then nothing ever gets addressed. There's no public statement from the company. They don't say, hey, we hear you. We know there's a lot of glitches and bugs. We're going to try and do better and fix it. None of that happens. It's just like, all right, whatever. It's the same situation that's happened with Cyberpunk, No Man's Sky. Pretty much any game that comes out these days, they're riddled with bugs, glitches, performance errors, and it's just like, why? And I know some people watching this are on copium saying, it's going to get fixed, bro. Just wait on it. I am paying $60 or $70 on launch, on release, for a game that should already be working out the box. I shouldn't have to wait for a patch for it to hopefully work. And I know someone's going to say, why don't you be a patient gamer, bro? Why don't you wait for prices to go down? You ever looked at Nintendo games? Those motherfuckers don't make their games cheap at all. You got to be lucky and find something for cheap on eBay if you're lucky. They don't like lowering the prices on any of their games at all. So if you don't pay for it at launch, then you're not going to pay for it at all unless you want to suck it up and pay the full asking price. Now, I'm not going to be one of those boomers and say, oh, gaming used to be so great back in the day and now it's shit. To me, that's kind of a weird take. I think gaming is in a pretty great place as it is today. Yes, there's microtransactions. Yes, there's people trying to nickel and dime you out of every goddamn dollar in your wallet, pretty much trying to be a thief and steal your wallet. But there are still gems that show up from time to time, such as God of War Ragnarok, a really great game. Honestly, my game of the year so far. And I know people like to dunk on Call of Duty as well too, rightfully so, because sometimes it feels very basic and generic. But just like them, they have gems from time to time. The new Modern Warfare 2, I enjoyed the campaign. I thought it was a lot of fun. Warzone's a different story.
I like how it's actually...
Oh shit, what the fuck?
Did you fall off?
What?
Ultra One, actual. Radiation is spreading through the
I just
area.
picked the guy up while he was
Moving to an
inside the
extract point.
thing. What the fuck? But my general opinion is that I do still enjoy playing these games. Stray came out. I know it's not like a AAA game, but it's still a fun game. But my point is that games coming out today are still good. Yes, you have stinkers, a lot of stinkers actually, but you do have a lot of diamonds in the rough, and you just have to know where to look. But I do believe a lot of AAA gaming now at this point is just a way to try and get as much money out of you as possible, which I don't know why people defend multi-billion corporations and want to suck their dick all day and say, just you wait, man, they're going to get a patch and it's going to be better. I mean, maybe you just feel sad because you spent $70 on a game that's not working at launch, and so you want to live on copium all day, hoping for the best that eventually it will be great. But that's a weird outlook to have on it, but okay. Think about it like this, right? Imagine if movies released without all the CGI done. They left outtakes in there by accident, and they said, hey, go buy a Blu-ray or DVD or stream the final copy when it comes out in about 3 or 4 months, and then it'll be finally finished. Imagine if your favorite artist dropped an album, but they only released 3 of the songs and say, hey, buy the full price album right now, but you'll get the rest of the songs later, aka a Kanye West who wants to patch his album 30,000 fucking times because the full album wasn't finished, so he keeps releasing changes every other second. It makes no sense. You'll be upset. Why would you pay full price for something that's not finished? It's just baffling to me. It's such a weird mindset to have to say, oh, well, the game's not finished yet, but you know, it'll be finished soon. What I currently have is decent. I don't know. To me, it just sets a bad precedent. It just tells game developers that it's okay. They can keep on doing it, which is why they keep doing it. And then you have people online complaining, hey, this isn't working or this isn't working. I got issues with this. But the thing I think a lot of people don't really realize is that the people who voice their opinions online that complain, that have issues, are like a drop in the bucket. When you look at the sales for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, motherfuckers are blasting through pre-orders. They're about to set records again. There's so many casual people who play these games that don't care about anything else. They just want to enjoy the game. And as long as it gets to the end of it, they don't care. They'll suffer through whatever problems it might have. Even with the clash from people moving their legs and it's moving at like 1 frame per second. It reminds me of when Ark Survival launched on Switch and some people were like, oh, this doesn't look that bad. It looks all right. I swear, some people just game with their eyes closed. They must not even know what they're looking at. They just listen to the sound and just move controls, but they're not even actually looking at the screen. Because when you look at this, there's no shot that it actually looks good.
This game is so blurry and so low resolution that it's almost difficult to even understand what techniques are in use here. Resolutions around 360p and 432p appear to be very common in docked mode, though I suppose it can go higher in very select circumstances. But if you pause during motion, the whole screen sort of breaks apart and huge pixel edges become evident.
It's those type of comments from people that let developers know that it's okay to keep releasing shitty ports and trash games. It's the same situation with Kingdom Hearts releasing on a Switch, but you can only play the cloud version. A game that was on the PS2, but it's apparently too demanding, and so it has to be done on the cloud version, which in my opinion is a lazy cash grab, and they have the audacity to charge an outrageous price for it. But yeah, I just want to talk about it. I don't think gaming is in the worst state that it could ever possibly be in, but there are a lot of things that developers do that disappoint me time and time again, especially from developers like Game Freak who make a shit ton of money, but they don't really reinvest any of it back into their game. I think a good example of a company who does do that though is Genshin Impact. For a lot of the money they make, they do reinvest a lot of it back into the game. And generally, as someone who's a free to play for about 2 years on it and didn't spend any money until I start really getting back into it, I think it's a great game. There's so much fucking content for it and they keep releasing content. To me, that is a good example of a game that reinvests the money they make back into the game. But that's just my opinion. Anyways, if you made this far into the video, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. Leave me a comment below on what you think. Have a great day. Yeah.